सो हाय गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू आवर पाइथन सीरीज। पिछले लेसन में हमने पाइथन का बेसिक सीखा दैट वाज प्रिंटिंग वेरियस वैल्यूज यूजिंग प्रिंट फंक्शन ऑफ पाइथन। और आज भी हम एक सुपर इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक से ही शुरू करेंगे, दैट इज पाइथन का डेटा टाइप। सो कोई भी लैंग्वेज सीखने से पहले वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द डेटा टाइप्स एसोसिएटेड विद इट एंड हाउ वी कैन यूज इट। सो सिमिलरली हम पाइथन में ही वही वहीं से स्टार्ट करेंगे। सो फर्स्ट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई डेटा टाइप मैटर्स। सो एवरी वैल्यू इन पाइथन हैज अ डेटा टाइप। हम पहले थ्योरी से ही जाएंगे टू गिव यू बेटर नॉलेज। Knowing how data type behave is fundamental to write effective Python code. In Python, data type of a variable is determined at runtime only, so there is no need to declare it explicitly beforehand. So इसका मतलब ये है, हमने कई सारी बाकी लैंग्वेजेस में देखा होगा कि we need to specify the data type of variable beforehand, right? So similar what we can see here, हमने पहले ही वेरिएबल a का डेटा टाइप फिक्स कर दिया इंटीजर, सो दैट वो लैंग्वेज में हम एज एन इंटीजर इसको ट्रीट करें, राइट? सो इन पाइथन ऐसा नहीं होता, वी डोंट नीड टू स्पेसिफिकली डिफाइन द डेटा टाइप। पाइथन डायनेमिकली ही इसको डिटरमाइन कर देता है रन टाइम में ही कि ओके a इक्वल्स 5, 5 इज अ न्यूमेरिकल टाइप, सो वेरिएबल a is also a data type of integer, right? So this is what I meant by numeric, like dynamically typed language. That is why Python is also called a dynamically typed language. So a data type defines the kind of a value or a value of a variable holds and what operations can be performed on it. Okay. So since Python, everything in Python is an object, data types are essentially classes and variables are instances of those classes. So ये line का मतलब ये है कि हम इसको in depth भी analyze करेंगे in the coming video of object oriented programming in Python. उसमें हम देखेंगे कि कैसे ऑब्जेक्ट डिफाइन करते हैं, क्लासेस कैसे काम करते हैं, वेरिएबल्स व्हाट आर वेरिएबल्स. सो यू कैन स्किप दिस पार्ट, we will go through in depth in the oops of Python, right? So next thing is to go through various types of data types in Python. So there is numerical types wherein we have integer, complex number and float. There is also something called sequence or container type जिसमें हम list, string, tuple, set और dictionary को represent करते हैं. So this is nothing but list is a kind of various type of data types you can store in it and you can perform operations in a list. Similarly string, tuples भी हम इस वीडियो में देखेंगे. There is also type called boolean. Boolean is nothing but binary kind of thing जिसमें हम दो वैल्यू को देखते हैं, that is true and false, and how we can use in our programming language, that is Python, right? So let's first go through integer type, right? That is numeric data types, right? तो इसके अंदर सबसे पहले हम देखते हैं integer data types. So integer is anything positive or negative without a decimal associated with it. So if I define int underscore 1 and if I store इसमें वैल्यू रहती है 5 and then int 2 जिसमें हम स्टोर करेंगे -300. So these values don't have decimals in it. So if I print the type of each integer variable int underscore 1, and similarly if I just copy this and right. So you can, as you can see here, it refers to class of integer. So integer data type को refer करते हैं, and similarly there are, this is how we can um, define a integer data type inside Python, right? Similarly, next thing is complex numbers. So complex numbers is something that has a real value and an imaginary value associated with it. So if I do this to give an example, complex number as in 5, like 4 plus 3j, right? So इसका अगर मैं डेटा टाइप देखना चाहता हूँ तो टाइप इसको कॉम्प्लेक्स नहीं रखते, कॉम्प्लेक्स 1 रख देते. So and if I want to get the real and imaginary values, so what I do is real and also the imaginary value, right? So देख सकते हो यहाँ पे कि it refers to class of complex numbers, so it is of data type of complex numbers and it has a real value of 4 and similarly imaginary value of 3. So this was the very basic example of complex numbers. We use complex numbers maybe in advanced computational programming, maybe in statistics, but not as extensively in Python, right? Next thing is float. Float is any number that has decimal associated with it. So if I declare a variable float 1, जिसमें हम let's say 1.3, right? And इसको अगर हम मैं प्रिंट करूँ float underscore 1, तो ये आएगा not float, type of float underscore 1. So as you can see, we have a class of floating point number. So this was all about integer data types. So let's move on to the next topic, that is string. So if we see the properties of string, तो string का basic property होता है कि that is immutable. So what do I mean by immutable is once created, you cannot change the individual characters. Any modification results in a new string object, right? So even though after defining a string, उसमें मैं कोई मॉडिफिकेशंस करूं तो जो भी रिटर्न होगा वहां से दैट इज अ ऑफ न्यू स्ट्रिंग ऑब्जेक्ट, वो वही ओरिजिनल ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं रहता है, राइट? सो टू गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, लेट्स से मैं एक स्ट्रिंग डिफाइन करता हूं यहाँ पे स्ट्रिंग 1, जिसमें आई कीप अ वैल्यू एज दिस इज अ स्ट्रिंग, राइट? और लेट्स प्रिंट द टाइप ऑफ इट, right? So as you can see here कि उसका type is string here and we have successfully defined a string. Let's do an experiment of modifying it, right? To demonstrate what do I mean by immutable data type. So let's suppose मैं यहाँ पे string 2 define करता हूँ, that is addition to the string, right? और इसमें मुझे इसको ऐड करना है string 1 में, तो मैं क्या करूँगा यहाँ पे string, let's define a new variable string 2 में string 1 plus I'm doing concatenation, right? And let's see what it prints. एक space दे देता हूँ यहाँ पे to better represent it, string 3, right? So as you can see here कि मैंने एक नया मैंने सक्सेसफुली इस स्ट्रिंग 2 को स्ट्रिंग में ऐड कर दिया है, राइट? सो यू विल थिंक कि ओके तुमने तो इसमें ऐड कर दिया सो इट रिप्रेजेंट्स द सेम ऑब्जेक्ट, राइट? बट ऐसा नहीं होता पाइथन में. इफ आई गेट द रेफरेंस ऑफ इट, मे बी रेफरेंस इज समथिंग लाइक पाइथन ट्रैक्स थ्रू आउट द वेरिएबल्स लाइफ साइकिल इनसाइड पाइथन. So if I print the reference of through id string 1, and similarly if I print the id of string 3, right? So as you can see here, these are two different values. So it means that कि Python ने एक नया object create किया जिसमें उसने इन दोनों को add कर दिया and it stored that particular reference inside this number, right? So this was the very basic example of immutable data type inside string. We will have a dedicated video to demonstrate you what are the different operations, कैसे हम string में काम करते हैं using various programming examples, right? So till then, this was very basic example. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, that is list. So list क्या है? List means it is of type immutable. The contents of the list can be changed after created. Okay, so you can add, remove, or modify elements. So we define list as using square brackets. So to give an example, list 1, if I define it as इसके अंदर मैं वैल्यू रखता हूँ मुंबई, दिल्ली, let's have a true boolean type as well, integer and a floating point. So list can have various data types in it, and we can perform various operations since list is a type mutable, meaning we can add or remove element, we can modify the list, right? So if I want to add an element, so I will do append, let's add Chennai, right? So if I do this and print the list 1 variable, as you can see here कि हमने चेन्नई को ऐड कर दिया इसके अंदर. So we can perform various operations in list. We will have a dedicated video associated with list and what are the operations to perform in it using programming questions or maybe an example, right? So वो dedicated video होगा. So this was very basic example of data type list, right? So to moving forward, uh, next topic is tuples. uh, So tuples is, to give you an example, tuples are immutable. They are ordered collections. Uh, Immutable meaning that once the tuple is created, likewise the string, its content cannot be changed. You cannot add, remove, or modify elements, basically, right? So tuples of type uh, immutable are of type immutable, right? So if I define a tuple here, tuples are defined by square, maybe this open brackets 1980. Let's have random values. If I do, let's have a tuple underscore one. If I do print type of tuple underscore one, so as you can see here, key tuple is of, we have successfully referred, like defined a tuple data type. This cannot be modified once created, right? Similarly to the string, it has own advantage of immutability inside tuple. You can refer to online sources, right? When to use tuple and when to use list, right? Those both have its own advantages and disadvantages associated with it, right? Then next thing is set types. So set is, to start with set, uh, so set is mutable data type, mutable. It has unordered nature and also has no duplication, does not allow duplication, basically. So what do I mean by this is that कि once I define a set, mutability का मतलब है कि I can modify, I can add values, remove it, whatever I can do, perform it inside set. Unordered meaning, basically set is unordered. We can't access the elements or values inside set just by passing the index, right? We will go through an example, and it does not have duplication in it. So suppose एक value already present है set में, if I try to add another same value inside set, the like set will reject that, right? So let's first define a set. uh, so set define होता है एक curly braces में. So 1 2 3 4 and 5, right? So if I print the type of this set 1, so as you can see here, it is of type set, uh, right? So mutability का मतलब है हम इसमें add कर सकते हैं elements. Let's append add element 6, like the value 6. And if I again print set 1, so as you can see, we have added an element after 5, right? And this is what I meant by mutability, right? Or similarly, as you can see here, कि it is of unordered type, meaning we can't access elements of it just by passing index. So अगर मैं list में तो हम कर सकते हैं, right? To give an example, list 1 में अगर मैं zeroth, like the first element में access करना चाहता हूँ, तो I can access, right? But set में नहीं कर सकते. Set में अगर मैं pass करूँ zeroth index, तो वो एरर थ्रो कर देगा, मीनिंग पाइथन वोंट अलाउ passing accessing elements by passing index instead, right? Another thing is it has no duplication. So अगर मैं set 1 में वापस यही line लिख दूँ, right? And to get to give a better understanding, तो देख सकते हो कि इसमें उसने ऐड नहीं किया because already 6 present था उसमें, right? So this is what I meant by it has no duplication. So set में various operations भी होते हैं, union, intersection and others thing. तो वो we will go through that in dedicated video. After this, maybe I will drop an dedicated video likewise for string, list, and sets. We will go deeper into it, right? So let's move on to the next topic, that is dictionary, right? So to list down the properties of dictionary, dictionaries are basically mutable. You can add new key value pairs, update the existing one, or delete them, right? A dictionary in Python is an unordered collection of data values in the form of key value pairs, right? So key value is provided in the dictionary to make it more optimized. Each key value pair in dictionary is separated by a colon, right? So to list down the properties here, it is of type mutable. ये आपसे पूछा जा सकता है, राइट? तो कौन से डेटा टाइप्स म्यूटेबल है, कौन से इम्यूटेबल है? सो स्ट्रिंग्स आर इम्यूटेबल ऑफ टाइप, देन देयर इज लिस्ट दैट इज ऑफ टाइप म्यूटेबल, टपल्स आर इम्यूटेबल, राइट, सेट्स आर म्यूटेबल, लाइकवाइज डिक्शनरीज आर आल्सो म्यूटेबल। सो ये एक प्रोबेबल इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस बन सकता है। सो आप इसको याद कर लो तो बेटर है, राइट। सो लेट्स फर्स्ट डिफाइन बेसिक डिक्शनरी, लेट्स कीप इट ऑफ नेम स्टूडेंट, राइट। तो इसमें हम वैल्यूज ऑफ नेम, लेट्स से आयुष, एज of 25, and then let's say course of science, right? So this is one example of dictionary. इसमें हमने this one is a key value pair, right? So name is the key, value is Ayush. Name is like age is the key, 25 is the value. Course is the key, science is the value, right? To better access this, we can perform an operation of student inside if I pass name. And so basically we are trying to get the value associated with this key. Herein name is a key, right? So uska value hoga Ayush, right? Similarly, we can also do an operation of uh, adding an element or adding a key value pair. So if I do this student जिसमें मैं डालूं grade, right? And इसमें मैं लिख दूं A. So this thing will be added in this dictionary. So again, if I the values of print the specified dictionary. So as you can see, we have successfully added a key value pair inside the dictionary, right? So this was the very basic example of dictionary data type. We will have a dedicated video of it in the coming lectures. So bear with me, right? So next thing is Boolean type data type. So Boolean represents true or false value, right? So Boolean uh, so it represents true or false values, right? So to give an example, if I store is true वैल ट्रू वेरिएबल में अगर मैं ट्रू स्टोर करता हूँ एंड इफ आई प्रिंट द टाइप ऑफ दिस, then I will get a Boolean type, right? So it represents a Boolean type data type in Python, right? Similarly, conditions, logical conditions भी हम define कर सकते हैं in Python using it returns a Boolean type. So if I say uh, is 5 is less than 10, right? It is true. So it will return a true Boolean type, right? Similarly, if I uh, say 5 is equal to 5, this is also true. So this is also a logical statement, so it returns a true boolean type data type, right? So this was all about boolean type. Next thing is none type data type. So none का meaning है it represents absence of value, right? None type. So if I say is absent, right, उसमें अगर मैं none pass कर दूं and if I print the type of this variable, so you can see here it represents a none type data type, right? So this was all about none type. Basically represents an absence of value. We can have in-depth analysis in coming videos when we are going to learn pandas or numpy, wherein we can use this none type data type effectively, right? So to give you a summary, uh, let me just pull an table so that you better understand it, right? So you can see here कि डेटा टाइप अगर इंटीजर है, रिप्रेजेंट इंटीजर, एग्जांपल्स आर दिस, फ्लोटिंग टाइप का भी एग्जांपल दिया गया है, कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर का एग्जांपल दिया है, राइट? टपल्स ऑर्डर्ड कलेक्शंस, लिस्ट इज आल्सो ऑर्डर्ड कलेक्शन, सेट इज एन ऑर्डर्ड कलेक्शन, यूनिक वैल्यूज, इट डजंट have duplication in it, and also if the data type is mutable or immutable, right? So uh, you can go through this table for your understanding. It is a quick glance table so that you can refer it anytime. So this was all about data types in Python, right? We will have a dedicated video of string, list, dictionary, sets in the coming lectures. Bear with me. So guys, आज हमने देखा Python के सारे core data types, that is number, string, sequences, dictionary, sets and boolean and none. सो आपको ये बेसिक्स अच्छे से समझना जरूरी है क्योंकि आगे के टॉपिक्स इसके फंडामेंटल पे ही डिपेंडेंट हो गए, राइट? सो आई विल आल्सो गिव दिस नोटबुक्स link inside the description. It will be a formatted notebook so that you can refer it at any time. It will be a ready to go kind of notebook. So please download it. I will also include a exercise or kind of practice questions inside that notebook so that you can test your knowledge. Okay, so practice करते रहो और अगले सेशन में अगले लेसन में हम डीप डाइव करेंगे और पाइथन के बेसिक कंसेप्ट पे. So see you in the next video.